Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another counter side video. Alright, this week's update is gonna be very... I was expecting more. I was expecting an Awaken or something, but at least we are getting something and it's definitely much better than last week's update. So we can say that for sure. So let's talk about this week's update in counter side, what we are getting, what units we are getting, etc. Alright, so first things first, as always, maintenance of 300 quartz, 1k Eternium. So, what are we getting overall? So as you can see, we got new event episode, so for Vice President's holidays, event missions, and shop unlock. So we get new event, which will replace our current event, I believe. Yeah, the current event is ending in 9 hours. So one event at a time, which should be how they should do it. You can also complete to get Monet's Fishing Girl skin, which I do appreciate, a free skin if you complete the missions. Alright, you can buy it from the event shop, I believe. There's also Vice President's Vacation special gift, login gift as always. Water Festival mission starts, new challenges for Out Squad, Anastasia supply maintenance. We get new counter pass, Lonely. Now, Lonely, I feel like most players might want to consider getting her depending on where you are at in PvE. We're going to talk about her shortly. Alright, so new circuit link, connect circuits and get Lonely's Vacation skin. You can get a skin for free. But if you have a free-to-play and you don't buy the counter pass, you're just getting the skin, you don't have the character, you might have to wait for the character before she can be pulled, which will be once the counter pass ends. So that's gonna be a while before you can use the skin, unfortunately. But I think they just want to, hopefully get players to buy the counter pass, which makes sense. We also have new normal recruitment, Dracasia. Very interesting name right here. New operator, SERINA crew. Now, a lot of people have been coming to my stream and telling me SERINA crew is one of the most broken operator, and by far she is. So we're going to talk about her as well. Choi Ji-hoon, Lara Yeager added to the normal recruitment pool. We're going to have a bunch of new skins for vacation skins. Lily, Sigma, Lin Xian, Lycaris, and also a bunch of interior set, coin package, salary negotiation package, and JP voices for a bunch of characters, including Lyudmila, including Alex, Yensing, Ifrit Harap will get JP voices in C server. Alright, so that's very, very cool. So overall, this week, if to sum it up, basically we are having a new event, 3 new characters. One is an exclusive counter pass character. Alright, if you don't buy the counter pass, you probably won't bother with it that much. One is an operator, and only one character you can actually pull for, which is Dracasia. So let's talk about them individually, right? Because I think a lot of players will want to know which one you want to pay attention to, Dracasia, SERINA crew. So let's talk about Lonely first, get her out of the way. By far, Lonely is a very neutral unit. She's good in PvE, but she's not that good in PvP. So Lonely, as you can see, basic attack, does nothing much. She's a supporter at 3 cost, alright? And she's a soldier. Alright, so keep that in mind. You can see she decreased crit damage by 50% for 20 seconds for all enemy units when you deploy her. In Gauntlet, that's decreased by half. And then, when she dies, she will cast the passive again. So she's like a crit damage counter monster. So if enemy uses Kamizumi, which always buff their crit rate and crit damage, you can always use Lonely to counter them back, in a way. But what makes her really strong is this particular skill right here. So the Mysterious Aura, as you can see, inflicts AoE, the affected enemies lose 20% of defense for 8 seconds. Alright, 8 seconds, losing 20% of defense, so this is a decent debuff. It lasts for 8 seconds, which is quite a good chunk amount of time. And in a lot of PvE scenarios, if the enemy is a CO, this will double the effect. Means 40% defense loss, which is, I believe, the strongest and the highest defense debuff any character has in the game. So in terms of PvE, you would really want to use her, to reduce the defense, danger close. Alright, very important. She's so strong in danger close. She's going to be quite good in maybe a couple of Shadow Hall stages and maybe the raids as well. So this decreased defense is going to help a ton. Alright, attack speed minus 10% added to the debuff as well. And soldiers and CO times 2. And last but not least, the ultimate skill. As you can see, attack surrounding target moves backward when HP drops to 70% and then 40%, becomes immune to damage until the attack, and blinds targets for 6 seconds. So this one is not too spectacular. When you want to use her, it's usually the special skill. Now, Lonely, should you buy her from the counter pass? Like I've mentioned, she's more of a PvE unit, but she's not really going to replace anything that we have currently. I feel like if you skip her, it's not the end of the world, even though she is strong. Like Machine Collector can sort of do whatever she can, to a certain extent, like decreasing like resistance and stuff. Despite her being kind of strong in PvE, I don't think like she's a must-have, you know? But for sure, I would recommend buying the counterpass if you guys want to try to make your PvE life easier. Now let's talk about Dracasia. So she's the one that I believe most players might consider pulling, or depending, right? Because she's the only character like out of these three that's a character that you can pull. The other one is counterpass and the other one is operator. So Dracasia, she's quite unique. She has a unique mechanic. Again, she's definitely much more PvP focused. She's a ASY counter and a Ministra counter. So why is that? Because she has a skill that she will try to track the target if they jump back and just follow them all the way. And Lily counter as well. Basic attack is just targets the nearest enemy, never changes her target until she or it dies. So this is the thing that I'm talking about. So she will always follow that particular enemy. If enemy put ASY as leader or Ministra as leader, she will always follow that Ministra or ASY when they jump back, constantly track them down until one of them dies. Alright, now for the passive skill, every 3 basic attacks, she will deal enhanced attack that do hit stun and also restores 5% of HP, 10% in ultimate skill mode. Alright, you can see she gets a lot of attack speed buff, and most of the time you want to use attack speed gears on her. So she has remaining ultimate skill cooldown minus 8 seconds by enhanced attacks. So special skill, she glides across the ground, downing enemies in her path, similar to the twins' special skill as well. It downs them, meaning they fall down and they need time to get back up. Disabled during ultimate skill mode or if enemies are within 3 meters. So it's like if they are far away. So her attack speed will be increased for 10 seconds after she used this special skill. Last but not least, Shark's Bite, which is her ultimate skill, explodes water, inflicts AoE damage, increase her basic enhanced attack damage, sets valid hit to 2 skills for 15 seconds. Also becomes immune to all hit stun for 10 seconds and can't be cancelled. So I thought this was pretty interesting. It didn't really specifically mention if the skill seal will work on bosses or not. If it worked on bosses, I guess it's pretty cool. She can be used occasionally in some scenario to try to counter bosses from casting spells. But you can see at level 5, range damage resistance plus 30% for ultimate skill duration, so she can survive some of the sniper, I guess, if they are trying to snipe her down. So overall, Dracasia, like I mentioned, very PvP focused. I don't see how you can use her in a lot of PvE scenarios, because in PvE you're gonna auto anyways, but her skill is mostly she's going to follow or track down the target. Maybe in like the Shadow Hall, Shadow Palace, I can think of like a couple of stages where the A heal day jumps around a lot. LSY in one of the Shadow Hall 5, quite annoying, can track that particular target down. She might get buff in the future though, so they have been doing some buffs occasionally, so keep that in mind since she's not that strong. And last but not least, let's talk about, I believe, the star of this particular patch, which is SERINA Crew. Now, she does this very crazy thing. She removes all non-permanent buffs from enemies, alright, excluding bosses, and prevents them from gaining new buffs for 6 seconds. And this effect cannot be removed. This is crazy, alright? If you think about it, this is crazy. A lot of things in PvP relies on buffs. If you have an operator that buff your character, for example, you're trying to run the striker team, you go for ALSY operator, right? It's supposed to give you buff, the immune to hit stun and gain attack damage or gain attack speed. A lot of ships give buff. For example, like Blue Bridge Mark II, right? Or even Coffin 6 gives buffs to mech. And to prevent enemies not getting buffs and remove all the buffs is just crazy. She counters a lot of operators. She counters Replacer King, because I think Replacer King, when you kill one of the soldiers, kill and respawn the Replacer thing, that's a buff. Apparently it sort of stops it for a couple of seconds and it makes him useless if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not sure about E1, but I think E1 needs stacks of buffs as well, and I believe she has the ability to remove that maybe. It sounds really crazy, it sounds really broken, which is why I can see why she's like a top tier, right? In terms of PvP, when she was first released in KR, a lot of players thinks that she's a little bit too ahead of her time, you know, she's like really strong. Up to level 8, the duration preventing buff increased from 6 to 14 seconds. Pretty crazy. To trigger her, it's Striker, Supporter, and Ranger, which I believe is easily doable in PvP. You don't really need Defender. But keep in mind, removing buffs is still much more of a PvP thing. In PvE, you don't really need this particular operator specifically. There's much better operators for PvE. Now, I do think that personally, maybe I might consider pulling for her myself, but as you can see, wow, plenty of a good patch going on this week. Definitely much appreciated, definitely better than last week's one for sure, but still, no Awakened Shield, no Awakened Horizon, nothing. But hey, I guess we'll have to wait for 1 or 2 more weeks. We'll see. At this point, there might not be any new Awaken in the month of April. It might be the month of May, and then that's when the anniversary comes, and then we'll see how it goes. But as far as I know, I'm a little bit happy. I'm a little bit glad that they're slowing down updates a little bit, but I just wish that, you know, things could have been much more evenly paced, you know, like compared to it being like very fast, a lot of updates, and then suddenly no updates for a couple of weeks, and then a lot of updates. They could make it like more even paced. That's just how I feel, but it's just me nitpicking, I guess. But hey, let me know what you guys think of this week's updates. Again, are you guys pulling for any of the characters? Let me know as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like. Have a nice day. Goodbye.